Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you're here. 62 project truck video today. It's gonna be not very exciting maybe. Who am I kidding? It's gonna be terribly exciting. You guys are gonna be so into this. I'm gonna pull the doors off. I'm gonna start some grinding and prep work so I can start making metal. I'm probably not gonna get to where I'm making metal panels for it today because my son-in-law's birthday is today, so I got to drive about an hour and a half up to Leesburg for his party. I would definitely want to support my future son-in-law, so I'm going to drive up there to Leesburg for his party, have some fun with them. I'm going to cut this short. I'm only going to get about 3 or 4 hours on the truck today. We'll see what we can get done. Oh, if you haven't seen one of my project truck videos, I'm Jimmy, and we're making it work. Let's do it. Stay tuned. 3 and 3. They're all 9/16ths, I believe. They could be 5/8. They're 9/16ths with several layers of paint on them, making them almost 5/8. So my plan is to take out one of the top bolts last. The door will be able to swing a little bit, but the top bolt to keep it from falling back, right? Kind of need to have the doors out of my way for grinding all the paint off all this stuff so I can start metal work. I'm not sure how heavy this door is, but we're going to find out. Uh-oh. A little tighter than I thought it might be. Everything's been loose on the truck so far. Now, if these doors were in great shape and the metal wasn't all messed up already on the bottom, I probably wouldn't even attempt this on my own. But these doors are far from nice shape. When the cab's done, I got a ton of work to do on the doors too. That's not so bad. We're almost doorless. This side, they were nice enough to leave the check straps on this side. The other side isn't there. I already got replacement ones, but it's funny they had a screw in there instead. It's supposed to have a roll pin. They just put a screw in it, but whatever. It works. Same thing as the other side. When we come back, when the excitement starts and I'm taking the last bolt out, I'm going to just hold it by the top of the door frame. That's what I did on the other side. I just hold it by the top. Watch your feet. I'd guess they probably weigh about 80 or 100 pounds. They're pretty heavy, but not crazy heavy. I'm going to start on this corner. I got to clean up all these spot welds I drilled on both pieces. I got to get this piece of metal left over from the old remnants, and I got to clean this channel up and try to replace this piece of metal. That'd be a little boring, but we'll come back once I've done that. Just a little bit of grinding. Sometimes a rotary tool will work good. I had to cut this little piece out. I didn't want to get where I'm digging all the way in the cab to get it out. If I used a full-size cutoff blade, it would have just made a big mess. This little tiny, got the Dremel tool on the Tack Life rotary tool. People always call these Dremels, but Dremel's a brand, right? Like cotton swabs and Q-tips and Vaseline and petroleum jelly. Anyway, I want to get this piece on across here because on the other side of the cab, this is rusted away. But I got to put my header panel in just to make sure before I weld the piece on the other side. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. This is the first piece of metal that I'm going to replace. It goes like this. It's so rusted, I was trying to grind this and it was all flexing and trying to wobble around. So I was going to try to do it without it because it's a piece of metal that connects the other 3 pieces of metal. So it would be weak anyway. And the fact that I got to fight just to clean it up, I'm just going to replace it. So that'll be our first piece on the cab. Should be fairly easy. It's got a little bit of a curve. Doesn't have to be curved perfectly as long as this ridge is in the right place because it gets spot welded to both pieces. Let's see if we can make that real quick. What I prefer to do is leave extra metal everywhere. I watch Fitzy's Fabrications. If you haven't seen some of his videos from metal fabricating, the guy's really good. And he does things quickly and efficiently, which since I'm a flat rate mechanic, I kind of really like to apply that to what I'm doing even on my project stuff. No wasted time, basically. But what he does is he leaves extra material all the way around, and then he cuts it after he gets it to shape, right? So basically all I have to do is get my bend about here, and I'll have a little extra metal on both sides. More on this side because I'm gonna have to use my shrinker stretcher, which is right behind this bending tool, metal brake, to get it to curve slightly. But like I said earlier, it's a structural component. It's not visible when you're done. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want it to be able to get spot welded too, right? I'm also gonna mark my bends on the back side because I wanna match the paddle in the same direction, right? So if I mark it from here, it's gonna be bent the wrong way. So I mark it on the back side so it's gonna face the same way. The panels also gets wider to this side than it is on here, over here. Let's see if we can get this thing bent. It's not quite a 90. It's always easier to bend more than it is to unbend it, but since it's sheet metal, you could do either, really. Got to go a little bit more. This is one of those things that the more you do it, the better you get at it, but you're still taking guesses and seeing how close it is afterwards. That's the curve I got to put in it. I'm going to go over and see how it looks on the truck, and then we'll worry about putting the curve in it. You can see how it's got just a little bit of a, we'll do that too. All right, to get the curve in the panel here, I'm going to shrink this ridge, and that should help pull the whole, it's going to curve the bottom and the top. That's the theory. See that curve? That's what I want. Might be a little too much, but we're close. I think we're pretty close. And all this is literally doing is grabbing the metal and pulling it together. Just little pinching, pinching, pinching. Very, very small amounts, a little at a time. That's how we're gonna make every rusty panel on this truck, with a lot of patience and a little trial and error. And also, I had this slightly overbent on purpose because when it's pulling the metal, it'll tend to unbend it a little bit because it's getting pulled into this jaw when you're doing it. So it tries to push here and unbend it. So that worked out pretty dang good, I might say myself. I'm gonna have to do a little trimming to fit this on the truck though, because there's too much metal here now to actually put it in place. So we'll trim it a little closer now and see how it fits. All right, I've been cutting and fitting and cutting and fitting. And I think we're getting somewhere pretty close to what we need. Clean this up a little bit, get it on there. A little welding. All right, let's try to weld that thing on there. There is no try, there's only do. No try, only do. I cleaned it pretty good, but possibly not good enough. I didn't really expect to be welding today, but this piece is bothering me, so I'm welding. No need to let this cool. All right, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Yeah. Always turn off the gas when you turn off the welder. That way you don't have to go buy a $400 tank down at the old Tractor Supply. All right, I got this clamped on. It's probably not 100% where it goes, but it's close. It's very close. All I really want to do is, I'm making this little elbow, this like, I guess you'd call it a leg. It comes down from the brace I repaired, comes down and makes a couple of bends and holds it. There's multiple bends on the other side. I'm not sure why they're there. There's nothing under them. Even the panels don't go under them anywhere. So I'm not sure if I have to make it look exactly the same, but I might anyway, just because it might bother me. Tack welded to that, and then you put seam sealer in the gap. Once I repair the rust, obviously. I'm not doing anything permanently until all the rust near it is fixed. We'll come back once I get this fit a little better. I'm just gonna bend this little bracket. I can't use my metal brake. It would make a cleaner bend, but as we all know, it's not cosmetic, it's just functional. I need something to tack weld it to. The metal's a little soft there, so I think I'm going to go over it and lap weld it. So let's go check out this thing and I'll see how it looks. The closer I get this, the easier my work is later. So show you guys what it's going to look like in there. So this piece just goes over. This hole is on one side and not on the other. And this little bump in the panel goes into the little dip. So that's why I did make the dip on it. All I gotta do now is mark this line here, which is kind of hard to see in the dark, but I'm gonna mark this line. I'll probably use a Sharpie to get a more precise line. And then I'll bend it. And that way I can take care of some of that soft metal in there too. All right, let's do the thing. You guys are getting thrown all over by my welding handle. Sorry about that. Hope it didn't make you dizzy. Just gonna do a little welding and show you where we're at afterwards. There you go. Thought I had that area pretty clean. It shouldn't be jumping like that again. Hey, that was sounding good. She ain't too pretty, but she dances good. I say that a little bit too much because it's often not too pretty. But I think we're golden. I'll show you guys what it looks like in a second. Looky there. I'm probably not going to clean up that weld a little. There's a little bit of build-up because of the jumping. It's a little bit of build-up. It's not going to hurt anything. I'm going to wire brush it all down, knock the slag off, throw some primer on this. I'm going to call this good for now. I want to clean it up a little bit better and put some more OSFO underneath and all that kind of thing. I'm not going to do the tack welds down here, obviously, because I got to fix the headliner inside the vehicle. Let's clean this up, prime it a little bit, and see what happens next. All right, I'm going to get the stripping the paint off of here. And I think what I want to do is fabricate the inner piece of metal going around that clamps to that new piece, the new header. I think I want to fabricate all that rust, fix all that rust first before I weld any of that in place. Kind of wondering myself what's the best angle of attack, but I think that's the best. Because once I get everything straightened out, I can tweak everything and adjust it slightly if I need to. I can even drop the roof panel on there and see how it lines up. Although if the gutters are flat with the original gutters, I'm trying not to disturb those. But you still should trial fit stuff just to make sure your next step's not going to make you undo the last step. These little flapper discs seem pretty good, but I was hoping they'd be a lot better than the regular discs, and they're not. There's even Bondo in the ceiling. I'm going to keep grinding this, we'll come back. At first I was going to cut this whole piece off and try to fabricate it in sections or something, but that's not going to happen. I ground it over, take this off. I ground all the paint off on the inside all the way around up to where I'm going to replace this rear panel. So since that rear panel is getting replaced, I'm not going to bother grinding that, right? So I got this roof all cleaned up. I'm going to start making patch panels for that. On the other side, this is rusted really bad. Not rusted that bad over here. There's some spots in it. So I think on the other side it makes sense to replace the totally rotted support panel, because this has the little bottom lip and the inner panel just spot welds to it. There's only a little bit of an indentation for the weather stripping to go over. So, I don't know, I'd think about it. I'm not going to start on that today. Whew, I'm tired. I'm going to think about how I want to attack these over-the-door headers, I guess they'd call them. And we'll see what we do with that. But for today, I was pretty happy to get that over-the-windshield header panel in. That's pretty good. I got the brackets made for that. I got the braces, the metal braces underneath fabricated and done. So it was a pretty good day for it's only been 3 hours. I'm going to tinker around another half hour or so, but I thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you got something from it. I know it might be kind of tedious. Some guys don't like watching metal fabrication. But if you're looking for encouragement on yours and you think it's rusty, this one here is pretty rusty. So I hope I encourage somebody to take some effort and put it in their vehicle. Maybe salvage some old cars. And this isn't really hard. It's just a little tedious, and you got to keep going at it, bending and shaping one piece at a time. Basically, on this, I'm going to fabricate 30% of the entire cab. So, all right, guys, torque that like button. You're awesome. I hope I see you in the next video.